Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and we're here for more Mariners franchise at the All-Star break, so hit that like button. And we're starting this episode off with the Futures game, the AL versus the NL, with the best prospects of each organization. And believe it or not, Jarred Kelenic actually makes this game. He has no AA or AAA experience this season. I've been leaving him in single A to develop equally across all attributes. So this is actually interesting. I didn't expect him to be in this, and he's our only player in this game. So here is his first at bat. He's hitting in the 2-hole in this game, and he gets a pitch to hit. He's going to take it to left center for a double here with one out in the bottom of the first. And I've been actually thinking lately that I'm going to move Jarred Kelenic up to AA, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I did want to get a little at-bat with Bo Bichette here. I want to check him out, and he hits a little blooper to right field, and Jarred Kelenic is not on his horse on that one, so that is going to drop into right field for a single by Bo Bichette, one of the best prospects in baseball, as here comes the next batter up to the plate, but it's going to be a double play, so our man Jarred Kelenic does not score in that inning. So here he is up for his second at-bat. In the bottom of the fourth inning, he's going to hit one to the first baseman. That's an easy out as he goes 1 for 2 now. So now we're on to the bottom of the sixth. Kelenic at the plate on a 3-1 count. He gets a pitch to hit over the middle, but that is right at the center fielder. And that is going to be 3 at-bats for him as he comes up for a fourth time in the game, 1 for 3. And like I said, I'm thinking about moving him up to AA. I like what I see from him, but he swings at a bad pitch up in the zone, and that's going to be an easy out by the pitcher there. And the NL does go on to win this game 2-1, and they get 11 hits in this game. And a couple of guys to note here, Brendan Rodgers goes 2 for 2, and Royce Lewis for the AL goes 1 for 1 with a homer. So I actually accidentally simmed the AA All-Star game, but I'm just going to highlight some of our All-Stars here. Joseph Odom at catcher. He makes the All-Star team at AA. Adam Walker, who we actually signed when we imported these OSFM rosters. Look at him, 293. He's actually doing pretty good and progressing pretty well. I actually want to see what he's going to turn out to be because he's actually a pretty good player, to be honest. And I want to see what he can develop into. And then Max Posey, man, 8-6, 91 strikeouts, 33 walks, 110 whip. He's turning into one of our best prospects in our organization, and I like what I see from him. He's 25 years old. He's going to be a little older probably when he hits the MLB level, but I don't mind. And then at AAA, I didn't play this game, the All-Star game, because our only All-Star was actually Tommy Milone. I mean, it's kind of puzzling how he made it. 12-3, 113 whip, but you wouldn't think that he's good enough to make this All-Star game. I mean, his numbers say so, but his attributes don't. I mean, look at him. He's 32 years old. I mean, horrible hits per 9 and all right strikeouts per 9. I mean, I'm not sure how he went 12-3, but he pretty much dominated at the AAA level. So now let's move on to the MLB level. We start out with the Home Run Derby. We have no participants in the Home Run Derby, so we just pretty much ended up watching it and simming it, but just looking at who's in it. JD Martinez highlights the AL, and obviously Bryce Harper highlights the NL. He won it last year, and you can see Max Muncy and Cabrera actually made it as well, and then Stanton and Trout made it as well, and Machado. And just moving on in the Home Run Derby, you can see that Bryce Harper and Giancarlo Stanton made it all the way to the finals, and Bryce Harper got beat by 1 home run to Giancarlo Stanton, and he ends up taking home the trophy as another Yankee, another award, and he goes home with the trophy. I'm surprised Bryce Harper, I predicted him to win that, but he didn't take it home, and I guess that's how it goes. So looking at the All-Star voting, we were pretty close with starting pitcher. I'd say Marco Gonzalez he's like 6th in voting. I believe that was 6th or 7th in voting. That's actually pretty good. I mean, he had a pretty good season. And then Omar Narvaez makes the All-Star game, which is pretty good coming out of our team. And then D. Gordon actually finishes 2nd among second basemen. So I didn't really expect that. But my biggest disappointment here is seeing Domingo Santana. He was actually ranked pretty low. He's hitting 305 on the season. has a higher average than 4 guys ahead of him, and he finishes that low. It's probably because he was a late bloomer, didn't really have any big highlight plays. He's not a big home run hitter, and he's just hitting for good average so far. Alex Smith finishes 6th in voting in center field, and I guess that's just how it shapes up. We only get 1 All-Star, and that's just Omar Narvaez. So we get 1 in the Futures game, we get 1 at the MLB level, and we get 1 at the AAA level, and then we get 3 at AA. Actually, we get 4 actually. 2 pitchers, or 1 pitcher, 3 position players. And then just looking at the NL, Nolan Arenado had a bunch of votes. Lorenzo Cain led all center fielders. Bryce Harper beat out Christian Yelich there in right field, but they both do make the All-Star game. And we hop into the action, only controlling Omar Narvaez as he does get the start. He led the AL in batting average as far as catchers go. He's actually 2nd in the MLB. I forgot who was actually ahead of him, but he is 2nd in the MLB with catchers with batting average. So here we are in the bottom of the 3rd inning. He is hitting towards the bottom of the lineup here on a 2-1 pitch. He hits one to left center, and that one is going to be caught. And we do move on to the bottom of the 5th inning. Now with a 1-2 count here, 0 for 1 so far in this game. He gets a low pitch, and he's taking it the other way and getting on for a base hit. And just like Jared Kelenic, he gets a hit in the All-Star game. So now we move on to the bottom of the 7th. Omar Narvaez, 1 for 2 up to this point, but he's going to hit a grounder to the shortstop that time, and that is going to end the 7th inning as we move on to the bottom of the 9th inning. Guys on 1st and 2nd here with a chance to be the hero. 2-2 count, 2 outs, and he's going to swing and miss at a pitch up in the zone. That's a cut fastball, and he was stuck in a little bit of a hole there. 2-2 count, and he swings and misses at a pitch out of the zone. So I'm not too mad about Omar Narvaez being our only All-Star. I mean, we haven't had anybody that really stick out. Besides him, I think he's been like the big surprise of the season. And Domingo Santana obviously came around late, but that's what happens when you come along late. So let's just look at our leaders here in the first half of the season. Domingo Santana and Omar Narvaez are definitely hitting over 300, and there are only guys hitting over 300, both hitting 305. And then Daniel Vogelbach, I think he's doing pretty well, hitting 300 through his limited time at first base. Alex Smith's hitting 282. He started off the season hitting a lot higher, but he's cooled off a little bit. I would like to see that average up to 290. He's only got 14 steals too. I think he should have about 20 at this point, but let's see if we can start stealing some more bases with him. Tim Beckham is hitting 277. This would probably be his best career year because, you know, he did hit 278 2 years ago. But I think he can actually jump up a little bit. I would love to see him hit like 285, something like that, and finish off this season on a high note. But speaking of high notes, we have some low notes here. Mitch Haniger's hitting only 230. Edwin Encarnacion's hitting below 230. Edwin Jay Bruce is hitting 220 or so, and then Kyle Seager is hitting below 200. He's hitting about 178, and I just can't stand to see him at the MLB level struggling like this. So I eventually plan on moving him down and seeing if he can, you know, get his bat going in the minors and possibly move him back up. So looking at our leaders with our pitching stat, Marco Gonzalez having himself a great year. 106 whip, 9-6 on the year. I really like what he's doing, but behind him, not doing so well. Yusei Kikuchi, 149 whip, 4.87 ERA. He's 6-6, but he does have a good strikeout to walk ratio, 92-48. But then we go on to our last 3 starters here. The guys who are pretty much on the fringe here. Wade LeBlanc, 142 whip, 4.29 ERA, not doing too well. Mike Leake, 141 whip, 4.41 ERA. He is 4-8 on the season. And then Felix Hernandez is actually 3-10. I mean, that is just horrible. He's got 82 strikeouts to 49 walks. That's not bad, but it just hasn't been consistent at all. So I'm not going to move Felix Hernandez because I don't think any team in real life would actually take on his contract. But we're going to have to deal with that. We might have to move him to the bullpen and take him out of the rotation if he continues to lose. I'm probably going to do it sooner rather than later, to be honest. But then looking at some relief pitchers, Corey Guerin is actually not having a good year at all. Sam Tuivailala is having a great year, though. 102 whip, 2.76 ERA, 18 strikeouts to 7 walks. I really love what he's doing. But besides him, nobody really out of the bullpen is really having that great of a season. Chasen Bradford's doing okay. Neftali Feliz is doing horrible. And Anthony Swarzak's doing all right as well. So we do decide to explore some trade options. I mentioned in the last video that I just don't know about Wade LeBlanc, so I'm actually going to move him next. And he's going to be the first one to go at the All-Star break. He's 5-6. Not doing too well through 19 starts. He's got a $2 million contract, so that's not a big take on for any team. And we're actually going to package him with a minor leaguer to sweeten up the deal a little bit. And Tito Polo is the perfect candidate because, you know, we have Jared Kelenic at center field. We also have Lewis as well. And then we have Braden Bishop too. So we have 3 center fielders that are pretty much primed ahead of Tito Polo. And I just do not see a spot for him as far as the future goes. He's 23 years old. So we decided to go and trade for Jake Diekman, and I love this guy. He's 32 years old. He's got a $2.3 million contract, so we're not really taking on a salary as far as the future goes, but it definitely gives us a boost in the bullpen this season. And you see he's doing pretty well right now. I mean, he's got a 1.32 whip, which isn't the greatest whip, but a 2.38 ERA is really good. So I really like that. And you see his attributes: 87 hits per 9 and 86 strikeouts per 9. If he can get us through the 7th, 8th innings of games with and keeping leads, I think he can definitely help us out. So we are going to execute that trade, and we are going to help out our bullpen. It doesn't really help. I mean, it doesn't really matter salary-wise because it was pretty much an even trade there. So we do move on to another guy that I've been going back and forth with, Carlos Rodon, and he is having a decent season, 1.32 whip. And he's got a decent contract as well, $4.2 million. And his ERA is hovering around 3. And, you know, in order to get this to work budgetarily, I'm going to have to take on some salary as well, because I'm going to try to dump Edwin Encarnacion's salary. So we had to take on Yonder Alonso. And good thing he's only owed $8 million through this season. Then we get to lose him to free agency. So we do shed about a lot of money. I mean, we shed about $8 million giving Edwin Encarnacion away. And then we had to kind of sweeten the deal with a good prospect. So we had to trade Jordan Cowan at third base, who's a 23-year-old. They don't have much infield depth. And we had to trade Estevan Florio. We did just get him in a trade for Dylan Moore. They wanted Dylan Moore. The Yankees did for some reason. And, you know, in order to get a pitcher the caliber of Rodon, we're going to have to trade one of our best outfield prospects. And he's actually, like I said, blocked. I mean, Braden Bishop, Lewis, and Jared Kelenic, I think they're the future at center field. And I don't really mind giving up somebody like Florio. So this is what our rotation is going to look like now. You know, Carlos Rodon is going to go into the second spot in the rotation. Diekman's going to move into the bullpen. And I like that we bolstered both of those parts of our pitching staff. And then Ryan Healy's going to move over to third base as Kyle Seager's going to get some playing time at AAA, get his feet wet there, and maybe eventually move back up. So that's going to do it for this episode. We're now here past the All-Star break. And you see the remaining schedule in July is a bunch of division foes along with Detroit sprinkled in there. So we have a lot of tough games. Hopefully those 2 moves help us out. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. We're coming back for more Mariners franchise next. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.